there was without a doubt, I don't even think there's a close second, that this was the best game I'd ever seen Justin play as a Bear. I felt that way Sunday sitting on my couch watching the game, and I felt pretty confident that when I watched the film yesterday, it was just going to confirm what I already kind of felt, and it did. And all of the things that had left me itchy and scratchy about him and the Bears going forward, a lot of that stuff was on display in a positive way. Like, I'm not going to look at stats and come to some based on a stat line and come to any long-term conclusion. For me, and I'll also say this as a disclaimer. A lot of the conclusions I come to after watching the film, these are just my assumptions. I don't know how things are being taught up at Hallis Hall. I don't know what progression kind of system they're using. So I'm just using my knowledge of the game and my experiences to come to my conclusions. As I said the other day, I'm not an electrician. I can't wire your house, but I have a pretty good idea what you're supposed to do on a hot route or in a combo route or whatever. So my conclusions, and there are a lot of people out there that tell you they know exactly what was supposed to. I'm not one of those guys. I'm telling you that I'm making some assumptions when I look at the tape and I give you my opinions. The things that I was most kind of bothered by has always been efficiency in the pocket, like shuffling left, shuffling right, climbing the pocket to create throwing lanes instead of walking in. We always talk about holding the ball too long and actually walking into sacks. So you want to see efficiency in the pocket. You want to see somebody that sees the field the correct way, trusts what he sees, and has the willingness to push the ball downfield. And I will tell you that I was so pleasantly surprised or pleased by what I saw that I watched the game a second time sitting on at my desk yesterday because it was such an enjoyable experience. All the things that we have been angst-ridden about, it was kind of like a stress release. And I'll go to the first play of the game. First play of the game, nice little combo route. Outside receiver runs a little bit of a skinny post. DJ kind of runs a little slot fade. And it's a quick read. It's a clean pocket. Justin trusts what he sees, drops a dime on DJ. It's beautiful. And I'm like, okay, this is the way you start a game. The next series, they run the same play to the other side. And it was the play that DJ catches over his shoulder. Right. And it's a beautiful catch.
He just dropped it right there in the bucket.
But it's a great throw, too.
Right.
I'll give you another, the post route that Justin threw to Tyler Scott. And Tyler's a rookie. He's got a long way to go. He doesn't track the ball as well as I would like. I'm not sure you needed to jump on that. It's well covered. It is a beautiful throw, and an NFL receiver has to make the catch. The biggest point that I would make about that isn't even the accuracy. It's the decision to throw it, because he has passed on those moments in the past. He saw what happened. He looks to his left. He realizes the safety's on the left side of the field. He knows that he's got a post with Tyler Scott. He knows exactly where he's going to go with the ball. He confidently makes a throw. It's a beautiful throw. He's pushing the ball downfield. And my favorite play of the entire game, and again, you'll have, as we see him play, you'll see pop-up plays that are jaw-dropping. He is one of one when it comes to off-platform plays. There's nobody in the league, in my humble opinion, that can do some of the stuff that he does. You can't live off-platform for 60 minutes, though. The throw that he made to DJ Moore, the play itself, on the first play of the second half, it's a deep end. It's a 20-yard in route. I've been showing you guys pictures for 5 weeks where guys in man coverage or in certain situations, Justin, for whatever reason, isn't trusting what he's seeing, and he won't rip it. He identified what he was seeing. He saw it was man coverage. DJ's as good as anybody creating that little window of space by leaning on A.J. Terrell, I believe was a cornerback, creates an opening. Justin sees the void. He steps up, and he just throws a dart. So for the first time, I think I saw him throw that same ball maybe one other time against Detroit, and the ball got batted at the line of scrimmage. It's the reluctance to trust what you see and let it rip. Because I don't know if there's a fear of making a mistake. You're not confident in what you think you're seeing. That play to me is what I've been asking for 2 years. every time. If we're going to run this play, trust your receiver. NFL Open is that. One step. Give your receiver, who's a top 10 receiver in the league, an opportunity to make that catch. Throw the ball. And I don't know what the difference was. I said to the guys this morning, maybe it was just Justin in his head was like, listen, all the clutter's gone. And I'm not talking about coaching, and I'll talk about Getsy in a second as well. Maybe he just looked at it and said, this could be my final game at home in front of the home crowd as a Bear. I'm going to let it rip. And it's what he did. It's what we've been asking from him, I think, is what I've been asking for a long time. Like, I've gone over the last 5 games. I'm putting together a piece for Marquee I'll give you 3 plays that look really good that identify what he is really good at, and I'll give you 3 plays that leave me uncomfortable. Because this is a huge decision that Ryan Poles has. So you're not just looking at a stat line. You're not looking at a highlight tape. This is not a Sports Center or Get Up clip where I'm going to show you just good things. When you have to make this decision, I got to know how you play in the fourth quarter. I got to know how you play against the better defenses. And by the way, that was a top 10 defense the Falcons were. I got to know how you read things, see things, whether or not you're processing. All of that stuff goes into the decision. And for the first time, I felt like it all kind of clicked for him. And I love the fact that he was pushing the ball downfield and taking chances. And I said this to you guys a couple of weeks ago. I'd rather you do this consistently, and every now and again you're going to throw a pick. Josh Allen throws picks. Patrick Mahomes throws picks. But if you go through the correct process and you trust what you see, and you make a mistake, who gives a flying F? It's going to happen. You ain't perfect. But trust it enough to try it. And I've heard all along, well, Luke Getsy doesn't call enough shots downfield. Okay, maybe that's the case. Maybe it's the shots have been called downfield and he's not willing to take them at times, right? Maybe it's not just the coordinator. Maybe it's a lack of execution. Maybe it's a lack of... I'm just telling you, it's the best game I've seen him play. It's not the stat line. It's how he approached the game. His accuracy was off the charts, but it's how he chose to play the quarterback position. That's what, if he had done that over the last 12 weeks, we wouldn't be having a conversation.
Be easy.
It would be very easy.
Or so let me ask you this question.
And now let me add this as well. I would ask people who believe that Luke Getsy's the devil on a football field. And I would never tell you that he's going to make you forget about Kyle Shanahan. He's not. I'm not telling you he's the best play caller in the world. You don't score 37 points in an NFL game against a top 10 defense without having a good plan. There were guys wide open all day long. It takes nothing from Justin. I thought this was the best Justin's ever looked, pushing the ball downfield, accuracy, decision-making, sliding into throwing lanes. There were a couple of times where he used his athleticism to create a throwing lane and then delivered a dart downfield, which is just, it makes my nipples hard to watch stuff like that. I'm just telling you, like, all of that stuff is really fun to watch when it's executed properly. But I would ask people, for everybody that wants him to be rolled out on every single play, where did all of these big plays that I just described happen? Where did they happen from?
Pocket.
Yes. Now, I'm not telling you. You were sitting right there when Steve Young joined us 4 or 5 years ago, right? And he said to us, if I continued to play the game the way I did in Tampa, I'd been out of the league in a couple of years. When he got to San Francisco, what did he say?
He tied his legs together.
Right. Yeah, we're not going to tell you not to be athletic, but if you can't function from the pocket, you're not going to get to where you need to go and where we need to go. And he told us flat out, you have to be able to play at a high level from the pocket if you are going to excel and be a difference-making player. And what I think people fail to realize is in Justin's finest moments this year, the majority of them come from the pocket. The throw to DJ on the first play, pocket. The throw to DJ on the other side of the field in the same play in the second drive, pocket. The beautiful corner route that is thrown to DJ for the touchdown, pocket. The dart that he throws to Tyler Scott on the post route, pocket. The deep in route where he throws the dime to DJ Moore for a huge play to set the tone for the second half, pocket. All comes from the pocket. I'm not telling you that you need to tie him to the pocket. I'm just telling you, and I do like to see them move him, and I do like to see some design runs. at the end of the day, all really good offenses circle back to the pocket, and you have to perform from there. Jalen Hurts performs from there. Josh Allen performs from there. Lamar Jackson performs from there. All of the good quarterbacks make hay in the pocket. So a lot of the times when you're angry at Luke Getsy, I'm not telling you that it's all, that you're off base all the time. And there are improvements that he needs to make. Sometimes it's player error. Sometimes your right guard doesn't get his block and the quarterback finds himself with a defensive lineman in his face. Sometimes the quarterback slides into traffic and doesn't have an opportunity to make the throw. Sometimes the receiver drops the ball. There is shared culpability as to why this all hasn't looked as good as it needs to look. But I would just tell everybody that says all the time that you need to get him on the move. That's got to be part of it because he's a ridiculously talented athlete. Where have the majority of his really good, impressive plays come from? From the pocket. Now, in the red zone, he's a nightmare to cover because he's such a dual threat. And I think they've been really creative in the red zone. But just I was so thrilled to see how he played because the majority of what he did exceptionally well all occurred in the pocket. He was efficient with his movement in the pocket. He saw things clearly. He trusted what he was seeing. He let it rip, and he pushed the ball downfield. And that's a nightmare for a defense to have to deal with. And for those reasons, it was a really fun game to watch. Now, I will say this to people. The second half of the Cardinal game, I thought was really bad tape for him. And it just goes to show you that an NFL season, for me, is a lifetime. And it's a roller coaster ride. And he can do some things that just leave you frustrated as all get out in the second half of the Cardinals game. And then the following week, 7 days later, he's out there playing his best game of his NFL career. So, this is why it's such a tough decision for the people up at Hallis Hall.
Well, let's advance this then to this next game. If he goes to Green Bay and he wins for the first time in the last 10, the Bears haven't won. They lost 9 in a row to Green Bay.
Yes.
He puts it on Green Bay. He plays like he did in the last game.
And he's the reason why
Yes,
you win the game, and he's better than their guy.
Yeah, and we say maybe the light has gone on. It's only 2, but light goes on for people at different times.
It makes Ryan Poles' decision probably more difficult. No question. And it should. But I would tell people, and it's something the good kid has been saying for a long time, nothing bad happens with Justin playing well. Like, there's no downside to it. Either he reaffirms his spot as your quarterback going forward and you move forward with him, or his trade value goes up significantly. And at the end of the day, Silvy, it's the same thing you and I have said for 17 weeks. It's in some ways, it is simple. It's a tough evaluation, but it's a simple decision. If Ryan Poles decides that there is somebody in this draft at the quarterback position that is worth the first overall pick, and he feels that guy can take them further than Justin can take them, he's got to draft that kid. If he's uncertain, in my opinion, then you move forward with Justin, you trade the pick, you give yourself some flexibility that if Justin's improvement doesn't take place in the manner that you want in his 4th year, that you can get out of it. But in the meantime, you've built a significantly better team overall. I mean, those are 2 good choices to have.
Right.
So, like, when people say, I'd hate to be Ryan Poles. I'd love to be Ryan Poles if you were a general manager in this league.
He holds all the cards.
He has a tremendous amount of flexibility to do what he wants to do. And you and I have said this forever. Again, it comes down to whether or not he believes that Caleb Williams or Drake May or Michael Penix or one of these other guys is a better football player than Justin or projects to be a better football player than Justin. And if that's the case, it's my opinion that you have to pivot and go that direction. It's the most important position in sports. If there's any doubt at all, then you move forward and you trade the pick. I mean, like, it sounds simple. I know that there's a lot of really difficult analysis that has to take place. But for me, that's kind of the crux of the issue.